Well, my name is Jeffrey Hill. I was a career Air Force officer. During my time in the Air Force, I came to UC Davis to study physiology at the graduate level. I was here during the years 1974 through 1980 on and off. The unique thing about my education is during the entire time I was here, I was an active duty officer. During part of that time, the Air Force paid for my education here, and subsequently I went back to the Air Force. I was awarded my degree in December of 1979, and very, very shortly after that, the Air Force reassigned me to a base in Ohio, so I wasn't physically here. I first became interested in medicine when I saw an advertisement during my undergraduate years asking for volunteer orderlies in a hospital. Saw my first surgery, and it just profoundly amazed me that blood was a living tissue. I watched hip replacements, which were big deals back then. I watched bone bleed, and while that might turn off others, it was just an amazing sign to me that the bone is living like everything else. And I never thought of that before. I came here because I was interested in physiology. I had acquired an interest in medicine when I was in undergraduate school, had some dynamite opportunities to get deeply involved in that. It was an interesting time because it was the drawdown of Vietnam and military weren't very popular. But I was treated well by the University of California system. As a matter of fact, they offered me a waiving of out-of-state tuition because I was an active duty officer. When I left here, I had multiple opportunities to use the broadening experience that I had here in graduate education. I went back to the Air Force Academy to teach physiology to basic students there for a while. I eventually entered what we call the Biomedical Science Corps, and I was an aviation physiologist. And over the years, I trained aviators in dealing with the stresses of flight. There was a time when I was the officer in charge of a human centrifuge, where we trained fighter pilots and fighter navigators to maintain consciousness in jets. When I came here, I didn't belong to a department. I belonged to a graduate group, and it was made up of faculty from the medical school, from animal physiology, from the veterinary school, and others. So I got to meet a diverse set of faculty advisors. After retiring from the Air Force, I spent about 25 or 30 years in healthcare in various positions. I retired from Vanderbilt University Medical Center in about 2013. And my wife, Tina, who was a nurse, also retired from Vanderbilt Medical Center, and she and I now live in Nashville. The research community was pushing the bounds of what we knew. My professor, Dr. Jack Goldberg, was deeply involved in the electrophysiology of the heart. I didn't know much about electrophysiology, but I knew a little bit about the cardiovascular system. So he helped me expand those bounds. He showed me surgical techniques to work with research animals. I think I got pretty good at that because of him. And eventually helped me migrate to my own thesis work. And I like that. And incidentally, I haven't seen him in several decades, and I get to see him here in about 2 hours. If it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't have the degree. There was another young lady in my lab. She was an undergraduate lab tech named Penny Fowler, and she just happened to be an artist. And she drew images for my research work and for my publication. I was very grateful, but probably the best gift she gave me was a pen and ink drawing that she did of me in the lab. 100 years is a lot of time to have a graduate organization that's functioning like that. You learn from your predecessors. Every time you see a research paper, the bibliography at the end of that is full of references, and many of those are from Davis. I really didn't think much about my connection to Davis until later in my life. Every time I walk into my office upstairs, here's my plaque from the Air Force Academy, and here's my diploma from Davis. So occasionally the alumni organization will reach out to us, and it's not just funding, it's, hey, here's an opportunity for you. We have a seminar that you might be interested in that we'll stream to you if you'd like it. So I got interested in that, and eventually I thought, I really owed a lot to my graduate education. It was considerably different than my academy education, but it gave me much, and I'm grateful for that.